Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Motivate My Day and Gameplay, otherwise known as Liz. And today is Saturday. And we all know what Saturdays mean. Story time. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm running out of story time, so I really need you guys to comment down below a story time that I should do because I am running out. Okay, so here we go. Oh, before we get started, go down into the description below. Go follow me on all my social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Musical.ly, Pinterest, if you're interested in that. Pretty soon I'm going to be starting another social media page just for you guys to talk to me, ask me questions, and I will do my best to answer them to the best of my ability. Now, granted, I am 14, so let's just chill. Okay, so today's story time Saturday is gonna be the day I thought I was going to die. And what I mean by that is the day I had my first really bad car accident. So this particular day had been a really bad day for me. I was not in a good mood. I was not having a good day. There was so much drama going on in my friend group. And I was just so stressed out. And I had volleyball practice after school, which was like the only good part about that entire day, was that I had volleyball practice. Because volleyball practice at the time was my main support system. I could not live if I didn't have volleyball practice every single day. So, on this particular day, me and my friend, she knows who she is, she decided, I decided to go to her house after school, but we were having trouble finding a ride. And I knew if I called my parents and asked them, they would say no. She knew if she called her parents and asked them, she would say no. So I came up with the brilliant idea to walk 3 miles across town in the middle of winter in gym clothes with nothing but sweatpants and a sweatshirt with my gym clothes underneath. So I eventually get her to agree to walk. So we're walking and walking. I remember this. I think it was on Valentine's Day. It was on Valentine's Day, the day before Valentine's Day, or the day after Valentine's Day. It was somewhere between the 13th and the 15th. I remember this because she kept texting her boyfriend when we were holding hands, she was like, "Oh, I got my own Valentine. I don't need you anymore." But like as a joke. So we were walking and we kept talking and talking and talking. And we eventually stopped at the McDonald's near our school so she could go to the bathroom and we could warm up a little bit because we were freezing cold. I remember walking into several stores at the time just trying to find warmth. We were freezing. So what we ended up doing was walking to our old elementary school. And then we called my grandma because it was time for her to pick us up. We were ready to go to our volleyball practice, except we hadn't made it to her house. We had maybe a half a mile left, and we didn't make it. So my grandma comes and picks us up, and we take my friend over to her house so she can grab her volleyball stuff. Me already having my stuff since I never go home before my volleyball practice. We ended up sitting outside her house for 10 minutes. I made it to my practice on time. And then I told my parents I was going to be staying late for another practice. But I told them it was mandatory, and it wasn't. I wanted to have some more experience with another coach, because as you guys know, I'm going to go to high school next year, and I'm really, 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 really excited for my swimming and volleyball seasons to start. Like, I'm over the roof, and I'm not even out of middle school yet. So I joined her for practice, and then I had my practice, and then I joined her team for practice. So that equaled up to, I think it was a 2.5 hour practice. And I was exhausted by the end of it. So eventually, my ride and my friend's ride comes and gets us. And we drop off my friend at her house. And we start driving. And we eventually get onto the highway. And I'm on my phone in the back seat because I was really bored. I didn't have anything to do. So I was sitting on my phone texting my friend that we had just dropped off. When I look up, I put my phone away and tuck it under my leg. And I'm just kind of staring at the seat in front of me. And I kind of just like space off. And the next thing I knew, my grandma lost control. So I'm in the back seat behind the passenger seat. And there's a rail guard right next to me. And she loses control and it goes like that. And I hit my head against the window. And I blacked out because my brain could not process what was happening. But the next thing I knew, we were on our side in the median, in the middle of the highway, in the middle of winter. And I thought to myself, I'm going to die tonight. This is the night I'm going to lose my life. And I really quickly look over everything that had just happened. And I couldn't tell where we were. I still can't. For a minute, I thought I was dead. And then I look at my grandma and I go, should I unbuckle my seatbelt? And she goes, yes. So I unbuckle my seatbelt and I hit the side of the car with a thud. And I had a bruise, like this part of my arm was just completely bruised. So the way that the car was, my grandma was on her side and I was in the air, dangling by nothing but the seatbelt. And it was scary. It was. And I start searching through the piles of stuff that had fallen to the floor, the side of the car that was on the ground. I start searching through. I'm ripping that car apart, searching for my phone. I cannot find it. And the first thing I say is, crap, I can't find my phone. And then after I said that, I kept thinking to myself, we're gonna freeze out here. I'm not gonna be able to get out of here. And then we hear somebody knocking on the side of the car. And I look up and I'm like, oh God, it's the police already. But it wasn't. It was someone from our Malmstrom Air Force Base. And he was part of the Air Force. And he's going, are you guys okay? Do you guys need help? Is anybody injured? Do we need to call 911 now? And I'm like, you can call 911. No one's injured. At least I don't think anyone is. And I look over at my grandma and she's like, I'm not hurt. I'm not bleeding. I just don't think I'm going to be able to get up. And at this point, I'm really thinking, wow, we are going to die tonight. My grandma had handed me her purse before the guy had knocked, and I was searching through her purse, ripping apart her purse, looking for her phone. And I eventually found it. And I'm like, who do I call first? And the Air Force guy is like, police are on their way, hang in there, we'll get you out. So my grandma turns off the engine, and I'm calling the house. I'm like, somebody answer. Nobody answered for 2 times, and then the 3rd time I call, somebody answers, and I'm like, what took you so long? Come in. Thank you. Yeah, it was my mom. Anyway, so I'm sitting here calling the house, and I'm so scared. And I'm like shaking, like I'm shaking right now. This is just from low blood sugar. But I was shaking, and I could hardly even press call. I was stuttering every word that I spoke. And eventually my brother answers, and I'm screaming at him. I'm like, why didn't you answer? You know somebody could be dead right now. And he goes, what's wrong? And I go, me and Grammy are sideways on the highway. And he goes, what? And I'm like, get mom, tell her we got into an accident, and have her call me back. But they're gonna get me out of the car now. Because while I'm sitting here calling and calling and calling, I think it was like 4 or 5 people stopped in the middle of the highway. Traffic was backed. And these 5 people were trying to get us out of this car. So eventually they all move over into one lane, and then everyone starts to go around them. And they're digging, somebody had a snow shovel. They're digging the snow out of the back hatch. And they get me out of the car. And the Air Force man had knocked and said that police were on their way. Got me out, like, dragged me out. And took me to his car and said, get in. And I'm like, no, I want to go back. Can I go back? And he's like, of course. So I run across the highway, not even looking, not caring if I got hit. I ran across the highway. I went back to the car, and I was like, get her out. She has really bad knees. She gets cold really easily. Her name is Leanne. My name is Elizabeth. I'm her granddaughter. I was in the car with her. I got out. Just please get her out. And they were all like, you need to calm down. We're doing the best that we can to get her out. I think we were there for 20 minutes trying to get her out. And my purse, and my grandma's purse, was still in the vehicle of the Air Force guy that took me to his car, because I had taken my grandma's purse with me. And my grandma's phone was still in her purse. Eventually, we got her out of the car. By the time we had gotten her out of the car, Highway Patrol was there telling everybody that once we got her out of the car to go ahead and go home and take care of themselves. And we were thanking all of them once we got her out. I ran back to the car that had my grandma's purse in it, and I grabbed her purse. And then we went to go sit in the Highway Patrol car. And eventually, I stopped shaking. I called my mom. I'm like, hey, we got into an accident and we need you to come get us. We're on the highway. I don't really know where on the highway, but I need you to come get us because I'm scared and I just want to go home. So I hand the phone to my grandma, and she explains everything, really. And before my mom can get to us, an ambulance showed up and said, "Do you guys think you need to go to the hospital?" And I didn't feel any pain at that point. I was just really, really scared. So my grandma said, "No, I have a bump on my head, but it's nothing. I think I'll be fine." And I was like, "Oh wait, I hit my head against the window and I feel my head where I hit it, which was like right here." I'm like, "Oh, I have a bump on my head." The bump was about this big because that's where the window had impacted when we hit the guardrail. And I was like, "Am I going to die?" I looked at the EMT and said, "Am I going to die?" And she's like, "No, you'll be fine." So eventually my mom shows up and we go home. And once we're home, I'm just crying. I'm like, "I'm so sorry I made you drive. I know I should have gone when practice normally ended. And I'm like, I'm freaking out." And my mom looks at me and says, "This is not your fault." I'm like, "But I feel like it is, and I don't know what to do. I'm sorry." And I'm freaking out. And my mom hands me 2 pills and says, "Here, take these." I'm like, "What are they?" And she's like, "One's a pain pill and one's an anxiety pill." So I take them and I immediately mellow out. Like, I wasn't feeling any pain, but I knew in the morning I was going to have a massive headache. So I take it and she's like, "Do you want to stay home from school tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Yes and no." And I'm like, "Mom, I left my phone in the car because I could not find it." And she goes, "That's okay. We will find it, and if we don't, we will get you a new one." And I'm just like, because I have really bad anxiety without my phone because of that situation. I was so anxious. I thought I was going to die because I could not find my phone. So my mom comes to school the next day with all of my stuff, my binder, my school bag, my phone. And I'm just in tears when I see her. I'm like, "Mom, I want to go home." And she's like, "I know, this day is almost over. Just finish it up." So she goes back to work. I go back to school. And I look at my friends and I'm like, "Am I dead?" Because I did not believe that I was alive. And they were like, "No, Liz, you're fine." I'm just like, it doesn't feel that way. I feel like I'm dead, like nothing's really happening. And they go, "That's just the surrealness of the situation." And I'm like, "But the situation's already over. I feel like it should, be gone by now." And they're all like, "No, Liz, this is gonna last for a while." So it was tough to get through because I'm still really anxious to drive past the accident site. And every time I do, I clutch my phone with life. And I honestly hold my breath the entire time on the highway. It scares me. I thought I was dead. I thought I was going to die. I didn't think I was going to walk away from that accident. I'm very fortunate too, with only a bump on my head. But I was having trouble talking and walking for the next few days after the accident. I think it was about 3 or 4 days after when I started talking without stuttering and walking straight. But I was still having a really big problem trusting cars. I didn't want to be on a bus. I didn't want to be in a car. I literally wanted to stay home every day after that. I always had really bad headaches. I still kind of do. I don't think it's from the accident, but it's scary thinking that you could die in a matter of seconds. So I am really, really grateful that I was walking away from that accident with a bump on my head and a lost phone and none of my school supplies. I was really lucky. I wanted to keep it kind of secret from my teachers. I didn't want them constantly asking me if I was okay. But I figured it out. I powered through it, and yeah, so that's where we're gonna end this story time. Sorry to bore you guys with a less exciting story time, but like I said, I'm running out, so you gotta leave suggestions, and they have to be things that I actually do or know. So guys, go ahead and leave your suggestion in the comments below. Don't forget to check the description and go follow me on all my social medias. Don't forget to hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on my post notifications to get notified every time I upload a video. And I'll see you guys in the next video. But until then, stay motivated. Bye!